Director Tom McLoughlin once pitched a sequel idea that would see Jason Voorhees meeting Cheech and Chong. While most people probably don't immediately think of as being a franchise ripe for Cheech and Chong's comedic hijinks, that's not entirely true. Sure, most of the entries in the series are played pretty straight, but Jason's adventures in murder definitely got sillier as the series progressed. Once the killer goes to space and takes Manhattan, it's hard to argue that the franchise still intends to be scary, considering Jason's, as well as his mother Pamela's, seeming hatred of drug use. Cheech and Chong may have actually been natural foils for the hulking serial killer. Additionally, sticking the two stoner comedy icons into the world might well have offered audiences of the 80s their own more modern take on classic horror comedies like related Friday the 13th's. Jason Voorhees is indeed a deadite. McLoughlin revealed that he had pitched Paramount producer Frank Mancuso Jr. on a possible crossover between Cheech and Chong, and during a recent episode of Mick Garris's horror podcast. Interestingly enough, McLoughlin says that prior to his Cheech and Chong idea, Mancuso actually asked him about directing a movie featuring both Jason and Freddy, from which of course eventually happened with 2003's. Here's his quote on the subject, via Frank Mancuso Jr. wanted me to do another film after we did, and I said, "What are you thinking? I don't know what it could be now." And he said, "Well, what do you think about Freddy Krueger and Jason?" And I go, "But Freddy's at New Line and the guys at Paramount have Jason, and it's like, well, we're going to try and see if we can work something out." So I started thinking about that, going, it doesn't make sense. I mean, he lives in one realm and, you know, I take this stuff very seriously. What realm are monsters supposed to stay in? And he came back, he goes, forget it, it's not going to work anyway. And I said, you know what? You guys own Cheech and Chong. What if we do Cheech and Chong meets Jason? They're like camp counselors or something. It's like, hey, man, I saw Jason out there. No, man, that's a myth. But he said, you know what? No, if any director working within the universe would have been qualified to helm such a comedic Jason adventure, it definitely would have been McLoughlin. His film 1986's was the first entry in the series to really poke fun at the absurdity of the whole thing, making jokes at both the expense of the audience and the increasingly strange character of Jason. By this point, Jason had evolved from murderous mama's boy to seemingly indestructible zombie, and the ways of defeating him had become more convoluted. This clever edge is one reason why it is often cited by fans as one of the best sequels in the franchise. For the time being though, one wonders when fans will finally get to see Jason stalk and slash new victims on the big screen. Jason hasn't appeared on film since Platinum Dunes' 2009 reboot, and the rights to the character have since reverted to Paramount. Paramount has been trying to get another film going for several years now, only to never be happy enough with the script to get past the pre-production stage. It's a bit perplexing why it was so easy for writers in the 80s to pump out a new Jason movie every year, yet writing a new one now is seemingly impossible. More Max Landis pitches horror movie icons crossover. Source: Postmortem via EW.